Good morning, grade 4s. Today we are just going to review some language skills that we have accumulated over the last little bit. So let's get right into it. I'm drawing from page 202. I'm doing a few different sections, so if you want you can find them and follow along. We're going to start with the section that tells us to find the error, and we have to be able to explain why it is wrong, and we have to be able to correct it. So we're going to go through, we're going to look for punctuation or capitalization problems, and let's see if we can find them. So number 1, my name is Charlotte, said the spider to Wilbur. Well, first of all, the spider is saying something, so we need to add something to show that she's speaking. And what we need to add is some quotation marks. There we go. Once we have our quotation mark after our comma and before my, that sentence is now correct. Why do we need quotation marks? Because she's saying something directly. Number 3 now. Please get some wheat bread, luncheon meat, and milk at the grocery store, Sarah. So this one looks good. We have some commas in here, but we're actually missing a comma. In our list, we have to have our comma after every item in our list. So we need to add one after luncheon meat. Please get some wheat bread, luncheon meat, and milk at the grocery store. There we go, and now our sentence is looking a lot better. And finally, number 6. Why do you ask so many questions? Dad complained. So this one, we do have our quotation marks, which is good. We have some punctuation, which is good. But in this case, it's not saying the dad. It's dad as in a name. So we have to capitalize dad. We put a capital D for dad, just like that. We need to do that for any names we find. Like if you have Aunt Betty, you need to capitalize the A and the B in Aunt Betty. And if you have God, you always capitalize God, as well as any he's or hims that are referring directly to God. So there we go. Hope that makes it a bit easier to find some mistakes in the other ones. Next, we're going to look at the bottom section of the paper where it tells us to circle the adjectives, underline the verbs 2 times, and underline the subject 1 time. So you know me, grade 4s, I like starting with the verbs because I find the verbs are the easier things to find. So that's what we're going to do, and then we'll do the other things as we go. Sentence number 1. The fertile river valley grows bountiful crops. The action word there is grows, so I'm going to double underline grows. Now what's growing? The valley. Everything in the valley is growing. So there we go. There's our subject. Now we have to circle the adjectives, which is any word that describes a noun. So valley, our subject is a noun, crops is a noun. So anything describing those two needs to be circled. So is the describing valley? Yep. The, it, like those sort of articles are always adjectives. Fertile is describing the valley. And river tells us what type of valley it is. So river is describing valley as well. Now what about over here? Crops is a noun, but bountiful is describing a noun, so it is also an adjective. So all of those are adjectives. All of them need to be circled. Next, God's creation sings forth his praises. So what is the verb? The action word is singing, sings. So I'm going to double underline that. What's singing? It's not God, it's his creation. So creation is our subject. Now, we need to look for any words describing a noun. So any words describing creation or praises, because praises is also a thing. So it's a noun. So God's, belonging to God, that is an adjective. It's describing his creation. It belongs to him. That means that his is also a adjective because it's describing the praises. What about forth? Is forth describing praises? No, it's actually describing how creation sings. It sings it forth. And if it's describing a verb, it's not an adjective. In fact, it's an adverb. So we're not going to circle forth because it is not an adjective. Number 3. The aged Josephus wrote a history of the Jewish people. So what is he doing? He's writing. So wrote is my verb. Double underline that. Who wrote? Josephus wrote. And now I'm looking for any describing words that are describing nouns. So aged describes Josephus. That's a adjective. The is an article. Always circle the articles. They are always going to be adjectives. A is an article, and it's describing history, which is a noun, so there it's an adjective. Of doesn't really count. We're going to leave of alone, but the is describing people, and Jewish is describing people, so those two are also adjectives. So there you go. Hopefully that helps a little bit, and I wish you the best.